So me and my mate, we were talking about our favourite heroes, and I guess there's heaps that can fly through space and kick ass, but none of them can do it with the same class as my favourite hero, Earthworm Jim. And look, obviously, I'm not alone. Last Halloween, there was a total panic as all of Australia dressed as giant earthworms. Tragically, a group who also dressed up as Bob the Killer Goldfish, they drowned. The Australian Minister for Resources and Energy, he made a pretty funny comment at the time about how their deaths, kind of resembled how easy Bob was to defeat in the actual video game. So, as you may remember, I also did a review for Earthworm Jim 2, and I really loved it. I really wanted to do it again, and I wanted to show you what this guy was really capable of. So I could have either shown you Earthworm Jim 3D, or go back to the basics with Earthworm Jim for the Sega Megadrive. And look, as much respect as I have for you guys, I'm just not sure the world was ready for Earthworm Jim 3D. So, the original Earthworm Jim, and there was actually a few different versions. The Megadrive version came out first, but my sister's stepbrother's uncle actually mentioned there's a Super Nintendo version as well, but it's missing a level or two, Intestinal Distress. If you can get your hands on the Sega CD copy, or even if your computer can handle the PC port, you actually get an extra level, Big Broody, and a few different extensions. But if you're playing it on a CD, the best part, you get CD quality audio. But if you're a dude on the move, you could try to track down the Game Boy or the Game Gear versions, but you're really not missing out on much. They're boring to look at, they're hard to control, and they're missing the vibe the console series had. By checking out the original game, we get to go right back to the origin story. So a spacesuit, it falls on this worm, and he overhears the bad dudes are holding a princess captive, but also the bad dudes, they want that suit back. I could go into more detail, but why? I mean, if you're really keen on the story and getting to know the characters, then definitely check out the award-winning cartoon documentary series.
My uncanny worm senses tell me we may be in danger. Ah, really? Gosh, nothing gets by you, do it?
As far as the game goes, everything's against you, except Pete the puppy. Then again, he doesn't really do much to help you either. The suit is, well, it's pretty much the only reason the bad guys are after you. But it's also the reason you can use your head as a whip and shoot animals. For those rare moments that you actually lose your suit, you realise how helpless you actually are. You can jump, but you're really at the mercy of the bad dudes. But remember, you've still got the power of the earthworm inside you. So whatever you do, don't bend to their will just yet. Right from the first stage, you'll notice the platforming is flat, straightforward. Nothing as wacky as the second Earthworm Jim game. You get this feeling that if this actually was a buddy cop movie, Earthworm Jim would be the experienced, solid, and safe detective. And Earthworm Jim 2, he'd be the zany and over-the-top comical relief. They're both great, but in saying that, the game is actually a platformer, instead of a whole bunch of different play styles, all cobbled together. It's actually pretty awesome being able to run from the left-hand side all the way to the right-hand side. The stages look great, and they're really straightforward. And there's heaps going on. Every planet has a different set of enemies, there's a heap ton of bosses, and a few different kind of mini-games, like bungee jumping, rocket racing, and freefalling. So look, like any great platformer, there's heaps of hidden areas, and even a whole hidden stage to check out. If you're one of those dudes who goes for the bang for buck, well, Earthworm Jim isn't hardcore, but it's a whole lot of fun. A whole lot. I mean, this game is massive, and on the Megadrive at least, there's no saves or passwords. It's really just one of those games where you need a mate around just so you can play it in shifts, instead of all at once. So what makes the Earthworm Jim games great is the sense of humour. And for a worm, he gets up to some pretty rad stuff. I could do like a whole review, just on the cool moments in this game. But seriously dudes, I don't like being upstaged. I spent a lot of time workshopping ideas, creating episode mind maps, and even coordinating teams of writers, historians and comedians, both casual and professional, to create these episodes, and I don't like sharing the spotlight. So let's get into the nasty bits then. The bosses, man, they are hard on your case, and there's heaps of them. Each planet has its own class of criminal, dedicated to stopping you and preventing you from saving the princess, and I have to admit, I really dig the bosses in this game. For me, it totally takes it to that next level. Earthworm Jim, it'll never be a hardcore classic, it'll never kick ass like Shinobi or Double Dragon, but man, it doesn't have to. Earthworm Jim, it was able to do what other platformers couldn't. Be good. Look, it's not all the platformers' fault, I guess. There was a hell of a lot of these things all over the freaking place. And like that old saying goes, if you want to keep your job as a game developer, make me some goddamn platformers. Earthworm Jim, it came out surprisingly cool. The whole game has this awesome vibe to it, you know, getting to the end where you descend into the final level like a helicopter Jesus. You know, take out the Queen Slug for a butt. Academics have often described Earthworm Jim as this epic representation of Dante's Inferno, you know, the first part to his Divine Comedy. In Australian schools, there's this raging debate whether each planet is dedicated to a sin, what demons each of the bosses are, and even the similarities between the devil himself and the Queen Slug for a butt. You know, both are set into the ground lashing out at those around them. It's a pretty epic thought, but at the same time, probably just total shit. I mean, just like the group who think this touching scene at the end, right after you melt the Queen, is ripped straight from Romeo and Juliet. And I guess something like that, it's totally impossible to prove. But you know, after all the effort Jim goes through and all the time and the challenge of saving his princess, it's not totally impossible to believe.